Hello everybody at GM Games, it's CoachFury here today, and I'm back today with my episode 3 of my Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 20 Let's Play series with the Utah Jazz. And today we're approaching sort of nearly the halfway mark of the season after a good start, followed by a bit of a middle ground, 0.500 teams progression with an unfortunate injury to our small forward all-star scoring sensation Adrian Dantley, which kind of took the rounds off of the sort of middle half of the season really, and we've managed to get him back. I think last time we finished the episode we were around about early January. I've moved the game on slightly since then so that we don't have to sort of wait around to watch all 82 games, but it's fair to say that we've kind of picked it up a little bit. We're on a bit of a winning streak at the minute. We've just won about 5 games straight, and the reason I've stopped at this point here on the 1st of February is because of this alert that's just come up, which basically notifies us that we're 7 days away from the trade deadline. So this episode, as you can probably guess, is going to be a bit of trading, a bit of deadline day dealings. We'll see if we can make some moves, and then probably go into the All-Star game and actually watch the All-Star game, because I'd be interested to see whether the likes of Karl Malone, Adrian Dantley, or even John Stockton make the All-Star teams this year, and see how that goes. So we're at the alert. We've obviously got a week to go. It's obviously recommending that we add people to the trade block now, so we're probably going to go in and do that and see what we can do. So I think in terms of preparation for this actual episode, I've been having a look around in terms of our team and really what we want to do for the rest of the season. So I think it's fair to say that the ultimate aim is obviously to win a championship with Malone and Stockton, and I think we were performing really well up until the point we lost Dantley to injury, and we were looking like one of the top sort of 5 or 6 teams in the league at this point. So I don't want to sort of rock the boat too much, but at the same time I'm wary that with the plan that we've got to try and build, and we've got to make sure that the injuries that we do have, so if we do lose someone like Dantley or Malone or Stockton do go down to these minor injuries, we need the depth to sort of build up and to allow us to sort of keep moving forward regardless. So looking at what we've got here, I think there's a couple of guys who are probably more suspect of being traded than the obvious ones. So I think it's fair to say that John Stockton and Karl Malone are obviously not going anywhere, because that's the whole point of our challenge, is to have those two as our tandem. I'm not going to move Mark Eaton either. He's under a pretty decent contract. He is having a really good season for us at centre. He's exactly what I want in a centre, in that he's just a defensive stalwart, and he just gets rebounds, blocks, stops people in the post, which is really important in this era. I think in terms of other guys, I think Verl Bailey is probably the first one that I think we can put on the block. He's under contract just for this year. Whether we bring him back, whether we can bring him back on the same amount, I don't know. And whilst he's a good scoring sort of tweener player, sort of power forward and small forward, and he's been playing pretty well for us this year, I think he might be worth putting on the block just to see what we can get for him. The same with Ricky Green, who's had a pretty good season for us as well. But again, he's out of contract at the end of the season, so we'll see what we can get. Other guys, I think it's probably fair to say that we can put guys like Jeff Wilkins, Steve Hayes, Fred Roberts, Bob Hanson, all of these bench players on the block as well, along with Scurry and co, just to see whether we get any offers for them, because they're either out of contract at the end of the season, or guys like Hayes and Wilkins, we probably want to try and move their contracts on if we can. So I'm going to do that immediately to begin this episode. So nice little trade screen that they have in Draft Day Sports 20, and literally to add people on the block, it's as simple as just clicking the button. So let's put them on. So we said we're going to put all these guys on. I'm probably not going to put Dantley on, mainly because he's just, if we get an offer for him, we get an offer for him. But I'm quite conscious that we don't have this type of scoring from anywhere else at the moment, because the likes of Malone and Stockton are still developing really, and so that's probably quite key for us, that we kind of hang on to him, and we've got him contracted for a couple of years at least. And at 29 years old, at the end of that contract he'll be 32. We can probably move on from him at that point, hopefully, because Malone and Stockton will have developed by that point. So let's just quickly check our inbox. We've got a couple of messages here. We've got a scouting update on Scott Skiles, and we've got an update on Larry. I can't even begin to try and say that last one. Larry K. Let's call him Larry K. Okay. So we've put some people on the block. I did have a little look around what type of players are available at the minute, and I guess the ones that probably stand out that we'll try and keep an eye on are a couple of guys. So the Lakers in this Let's Play series, the Magic Showtime Lakers, are actually doing really bad this year. They're 18-31, and they're, Kareem and Magic Johnson have clearly not got them going this year. So surprising, I guess, to say that both the guys are on the trade block, and you can see here Magic Johnson, he's up on the trade block. He's just, I would love to get him. If we could get him, imagine having him playing at shooting guard or small forward for us, even power forward, to be honest with you. We could pretty much play him anywhere. It would be amazing. But we'll have a look come trade deadline if we can make a move. But his $30 million contract will be quite difficult for us to move around, really. I guess other guys that probably you may have heard of, Mark Aguirre is available, but we've got Dantley, so we probably don't need him. The same with Alex English, a scoring, no defense type of small forward that was pretty prime in this era. Is available as well. And then, as I said, Kareem is available. $19 million contract. I'm not too sold on him. He's a good scoring centre. I mean, I'd be interested to see if he does get moved. I mean, he's one that we might come back to if he's still around at next year, because I mean he's 38 years old at this point, so he'd only be probably the type of guy if we're looking to make that final move to win a championship, then we could perhaps look at him. The one I want to keep an eye on for free agency, which is quite nice actually. They have these little free agent years now along the side here on the search bar, so you can see if they're a free agent at the end of the year. But Wayne Cooper's one that I want to probably recruit quite heavily in the summer, because that defense with him and Eaton in there rotating, that's a good piece for us to kind of make sure we lock down that area. And then we're probably only really looking realistically, we just need a backup point guard, someone to back up Dantley, and then a backup shooting guard. And I think we're pretty close to being a really good team. So yeah, let's progress. Let's move on. And so we're up against the Pistons first. I think we had an injury to Stockton that I might need to readjust. No, I think I've already done that. Okay, good. Interesting that we're not playing Green that many minutes, but we're obviously going to adjust this a little bit more. I might have just check I've got it off of, yeah, okay, good. Okay, it's not on CPU, because that must have just addressed this and not thought about it. So obviously we want Green in there a little bit more because Stockton's out. Same with Hansen, we want you in a little bit more. We're going to adjust this. Yeah, that's more like it. So he could play minimal minutes. Curry, yeah. Malone, okay, so I forgot that Malone was back, so we'll put him back in the lineup. That's a no-brainer for us. Yep, good. And Bailey will come in and cover those minutes. Okay, first game of this episode. The Detroit Pistons, who are 25-27. They've come back quite a lot this year. They started pretty poorly. I think they were like 13 and sort of 16-17 at one point, so they're having a bit of a resurgence with Isaiah Thomas and co. How do we get on? So we managed to secure a nice home win there to start the episode. It's always good to start off with a win. Brings me a bit more positivity. Yeah, okay, good. So we managed to foul out Thomas in quite early fashion there. Green doing pretty well for us. Let's move on. I don't think we've got any messages around trades yet, so we'll move on to the 3rd of February and the 4th. We've got a couple of days break here, so I think Stockton might be back actually. Let's just check. Okay, so Wilkins is out, but Stockton is back, so we'll restore our lineup, which is the wrong lineup typically, because I must have pressed the wrong button last episode. Let's just put this back into some sort of logical order. So you're going in there. That's more like it. Yeah, that's more like our normal rotation. Good. Excuse me. Okay, moving through. We haven't had any trade offers yet. We have a message in the inbox though for the 5th of February. Let's see. Okay, we've got a trade rumour. Okay. My sources tell me you're letting other GMs know that Fred Roberts is on the trade block. Is that true? Well, yes, it is. He's actually pleased that he's out there so he can relax more. Okay, that's good. That's interesting to know. So we move on to the 5th of February. Still no trades have happened in the league, which is surprising. I guess everyone's holding out for that deadline day deal. So we go into sort of probably one of the last games before the deadline, which is against the Clippers on the road. Doing pretty well actually, the Clippers this year. Clippers, pretty historic franchise for doing pretty badly, but doing all right. And yeah, okay, good. And we're pulling out the wins now. Our rotation is back as well, which is good. Let's have a look. Dantley, just stupid, insane scoring numbers for us. Very well supported actually in this game. Bailey doing pretty well off the bench, 16 points in 16 minutes. Pretty happy with that performance, I have to say. That's a good game for us. And we are now. The deadline is tomorrow, and I haven't seen any deals go through yet. Actually, has nothing been flagged up? No, nothing yet. I think we'll go to tomorrow, and we'll see if there's any transactions. We've got a couple of things in the inbox. Has anything happened around the league? Okay, so it looks like a couple of minor deals. So Tree Rollins, just a defensive centre basically, 7'1" defensive centre, has been traded for Maurice Lucas and the Lakers. Okay, so the Lakers have made a move there to acquire Tree Rollins. I'm guessing they're thinking they'll get some support in there for Kareem. And Darren Walker has gone to the Wizards. Okay, pretty okay point guard, young point guard. The Lewis Orr in a 2nd round pick. Okay, the Lewis Orr is a bit of a rotation guy. And looks like that's pretty much it. Mike Bratz has been released. Okay, we don't want you. Who else has been released actually? We should check this. Because we see if we can pick up someone off the waiver wire. Okay, there's been a couple of deals actually that happened on the 6th. Bill Walton, the old Bill Walton's been traded for George Gervin. 2 legends there. Must be just to fit around some rotation pieces. Okay, so Lewis Orr got traded on the 6th and then got traded again on the 7th. Oh my goodness. Terry Tyler's moved. No real big names though. Nothing major moving, I don't think. Yeah, okay. Another release there. We don't really want him. Okay, the Bulls have made a move there as well. Yeah, nothing really standing out. We have got a couple of things in the inbox we'll have to look at. See if we've got any trade offers, and we do. We've got 2 to have a look at. So we've got one from the Phoenix Suns, which are offering Gene Banks, Rod Foster, Ricky Green, and a 2nd round pick. Okay, let's have a look at the Phoenix Suns. It's Gene Banks and Rod Foster. Have a look. What do they look like? So Rod Foster is basically garbage. Okay. Gene Banks is not much better. So we're probably not going to take that deal. That doesn't help us at all with anything. So we're going to reject that one, I think. Then we've got another one where the Houston Rockets are offering Robert Reed for Green and a 2nd round pick. Okay. Robert Reed. How do you look? Reed. Okay. I mean, you're just a defensive small forward, really. We don't really need anyone in that position. I quite like him though. I just want to keep an eye out for the off season. He could be quite a solid bench piece for us. Okay. I don't think we're going to take that one either. So it looks like we haven't found anything that we really want. Do we want to have a little look just to see if we can get Magic Johnson? We'd need to find $30 million in salary. How are we going to do that? We could try. We can try. So let's say we'll give you Green because he's on our block anyway. We'll give you Wilkins. We can always find someone for that. Williams. We throw all of these guys in. Is that cap legal? That is cap legal. And if we give you our first round pick this year, yeah, okay, we're not going to be able to get him. Okay, we'll have to come back to that one. Do we want to dump any contracts? Can we dump any of these? I mean, I'd like to try and just move Hayes for anything that is expiring. Let's just try and do that. He's got some expiring guys. We're on the block, actually. Let's actually go back to the search engine and quickly have a look. So we want guys who are in their free agency year, who are on the trade block. That's what we want. Who can fill a role for us. So we probably want a centre back. Okay, none of those are expiring. That doesn't really help us. Oh, Jack Silk was available. He could be an interesting option. Perhaps we can see if we can get something for him going. Okay, so everyone who's on the block seems to have no free agency yet, apart from these guys. Alex English, what did he want? It was 30 million. Okay, we're not going to be able to afford that. Mark Aguire's 20 million. Yeah. 16 million Sydney Moncrief. Wonder if we could get Mark Cooper. Gives us a little bit of probably a minor move at shooting guard. If we can dump, where was he? He was at the Lakers, wasn't he, this time? Mark Cooper. I'll give you Mark Cooper, and I'll give you back our guy that we want to get rid of, Mr. Hayes. And I'll give you a second round pick this year, next year. Oh, okay. We need some more salary, so have him as well. Okay. I don't think we're going to get any moves done at the deadline, guys. Looks like we got offered some garbage, and we can't move our own garbage, so we'll leave that one as is. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. Let's get to all the All-Star games and focus on that for the rest of this episode. So we've got no game today, as far as I can see. So we'll move on. And I think that's the trade deadline done. So was anything else? Did anything else happen on deadline day? Not a lot actually this time. Are there any free agents that have been released that we want to pick up? Let's have a look. I think Bratz was one that was released. We weren't really interested in. Probably not. So anyone who's got any form of defense, because defense is always quite handy just to pick up, just so we've got guys who we can throw in. No, okay, not a great deal there. Hopefully in coming seasons that might be a bit more of an option for us. So we've got our next game out fresh off the deadline against the OKC Thunder, or the Seattle Supersonics of this era. Back with our full lineup though, so hopefully we're at full strength. We can get the win, which we have. Yeah, I'm really liking this lineup, this rotation we've got now. I know that it's quite well balanced, and we've Malone and Co are kind of developing, so I'm quite confident that three, Dantley, Malone, Stockton, if we can keep those guys together, we might have a shot at a title in a year or two's time. Just probably need to put the right pieces around them. So we're up against the Nuggets again, a team that we have actually done pretty poorly to this year. I think we're 1-1 with them now, so we're 2-1 again. So this rotation, this lineup's back to full speed. Look at that, Malone's starting to get some of his numbers up as well. A nice 26 and 13 game from him there. It's good to see. Looks like Stockton only played 7 minutes. I wonder if he's hit an injury. No, okay, so Eaton's out for 2 days, but I think we might be okay. So we had another game. So we lost by 2 to Portland. We go and face the Lakers, who have just looks like they've won a couple of games now, because they were 18 and 33. I think they've won 4 straight now. Coming out of the deadline, they've gotten a little bit better. And yeah, held us at home. So we're now sort of lost a couple of games on the bounce now. Okay, so we're up to the All-Star weekend. Before we do that, and we delve into the All-Star games and all the antics that happened there, let's have a little recap and see where we are. So I think we went about 1-2 or 1-3 in that opening stint, which leaves us at 35 and 24. So we're obviously looking fairly good in terms of playoffs. We're currently occupying the sort of the 5th seed, so middle of the pack seed really at the moment. I think it's fair to say though, if we'd have not had the injury to Dantley, I think we'd have probably won 5 or 6 more games, which probably would have put us around the top 3, I think, this year. But yeah, it looks like the Spurs 46 and 12, team that I said was actually probably rebuilding in this era of just having an amazing season. Who have they even actually got? I think they've got Alvin Robertson at this time in this era. Yeah, Johnny Moore, Alvin Robertson, Tyrone Corbin, Mike Mitchell. So not really got a proper star, but they've got a collection of good players, I guess, which is probably what's helping them. And yeah, so then we've got the Golden State Warriors, who we've talked about before, but I don't think we have anyone really elite to hand. The Rockets, the Suns, then us. The Lakers have just jumped back into the bottom end of the playoffs there, so we'll have to keep an eye out for them because they were well out of it a little while ago. Our arch nemesis, the Chicago Bulls, are definitely bottom of the Eastern Conference, so they're looking at probably a prime pick for this year. Up the top though, we've got probably one of the better teams in the league, the 76ers. Who have they got at this time in this era? Okay, yeah, so it's Charles Barkley and Moses Malone in the post. So yeah, okay, no surprise that this team is pretty elite with Charles Barkley in there. Probably one of the favourites, I'd imagine, for the title this year. But you never know. We might get there. We might cause a couple of upsets. So yeah, I think we're doing okay. Let's have a little look at our insights. Let's get to our team, the Utah Jazz, and insights. How are we looking? So we're currently the 3rd ranked best defensive team. We're 14th in offense. So we haven't been doing particularly well there, but we've talked about that before. We're 2nd in steals per game. We're doing all right on the rebounds. Yeah, so I think it's fair to say defense has been pretty good for us. It's probably on the offensive side is where we need to develop a little bit more, and I probably expect that to naturally develop over time as Malone and Stockton sort of improve their scoring ability. You can see here they're making some good progress. We can't actually see that yet because we haven't got to a new season, but I think they have made some progress because I think when you look at Karl Malone's earlier game logs, I think he was definitely not averaging anywhere near the number of points he is now. So you think start the season, I know he got an injury there, but averaging sort of 12, 15 points, and then he's obviously started to explode the past few games, regularly over sort of the 15-point mark. So let's go into the All-Star weekend. So first up, we've got the dunk contest and the 3-point contest. So let's see what happens there. So the dunk contest winner was Jamie Watson. So as usual, a load of players that I have no idea who they are. And then in terms of the 3-point contest, we'll go back and have a quick look. So Rick Carlisle won the 3-point contest, and we didn't have anyone in there, which is no surprise really because we are one of the worst 3-point shooting teams at this time. Let's go and watch the rookie sophomore game. Hopefully John Stockton and Karl Malone will be in this game, and we can watch them, see how they do. So both are going to be AI controlled, yeah. So the lineups for the rookie and sophomore game, and Karl Malone is in there. That's great to see that he's starting in the rookie league, in the rookie team. Ewing, Xavier McDaniel, Wilkins, Spud Webb made it, blimey. And then Vern Fleming, Rick Carlisle just won the 3-point competition. Bernard Thompson, Charles Barkley, no surprise, and Hakeem. So that's going to be a really interesting front court challenge for these the rookies here, Malone and Ewing up against Hakeem and Charles. That's like a Hall of Fame style competition. So let's go to the tip off and watch the game. So we're gonna watch it obviously in a slightly faster speed, so that we don't spend all the 20 minutes watching. But that's quite cool actually. I like that they've got all their individual jerseys on. That's a new thing that's in this mod. They used to also just have colours for Eastern and Western Conference, but looks like they've changed that, which is that's a nice little feature. Makes it quite difficult to watch, but at least they've got similar colours. They're all in blue or all in white. So yeah, it looks like the rookies have taken a slightly early lead here. Looks like Malone's come straight out of the lineup as well. I'm guessing he's hit foul trouble against Barkley. Oh, blimey, I didn't know Joe Dumars was a rookie at this era. I thought he was a lot older than that. But yeah, looks like the rookies have got it up in the minute. It's surprising. I guess perhaps they have a little bit more depth, and like so Chris Mullin's just come in as well. Those of you who even know him as a coach or know him as a player, he was a fairly good player in his time, a good scoring small forward. Okay, so we're now into the full-on bench here. Looks like Stockton didn't get any, didn't get into the sophomore team, which is surprising, really. I'd have expected him to. It's pretty much neck and neck at the minute. Speed up a little bit. The rookies are sort of still holding on to that lead. Karl Malone there, 3 of 3, so that's good to see from us. 8 points, assist, couple of steals, 10 points now. Oh yeah, there we go. John Stockton is in. I just noticed him. Okay, so that's good. Our dynamic duo of Stockton and Malone have actually made the rookie sophomore game, so that's good to see. It's always nice to see that they get some recognition for their performance this year, because obviously they've been a huge force on our team really with Dantley, and looks like the rookies are still holding on to that lead, just about. Whether the sophomores come out after the second quarter and you know the final half and put on a show, we'll see. But you know, I think they're going to need a bit more of the ball into Barkley and co to get it over the line. It looks like the rookie team is a little bit more balanced in terms of the way its shot selection is going, and they're shooting not as well, but they're shooting a lot more shots and winning the rebound battle. So that seems to have been the key so far for that first half. But as soon as I start talking about that, the sophomores have come out and just taken over that second quarter. So let's have a quick look. So Karl Malone, look at that, 17 points, 4 rebounds, a couple of steals, and an assist there. So good showing from him. Where are you, Mr. Stockton? Stockton, you've only played 4 minutes, unfortunately, but you know you're 2 of 2, so that's good. You know, probably I think you must have come in at shooting guard or something. We'll see how the second half goes. Definitely a battle of the teams in the post though. All of the distributions kind of going in there at this point. But it looks like the sophomores are starting to blow out the rookies now. 10, 12 point lead. Yeah, I think the sophomores are just showing that a little bit of experience now. And this one's starting to become a bit of a blowout now, unfortunately. Which you tend to expect in the rookie and sophomore game, but I think they put up a good showing in the first quarter, and probably the second half of the first half of the second quarter, it looked like it was neck and neck, but probably just slightly too much here. Still 15 points, 13 point gap. Probably not going to get back into this. But I think the positives for us are that Karl Malone's got 21 points, so that's nice to see that he's become quite put up quite a good showing in this game, which is promising signs for us as we want to develop obviously our offense around him, because he is such a offensive threat, and if we can get the right level of possession into him, the right number of shots into him, I think we're going to be quite successful. And I think we have a good chance over the coming seasons to get that elusive title that Stockton and Malone did not get. So there we go, the end of the game. Sophomores basically blew out the rookies in the end, and the player of the game actually turned out to be Van Fleming with 33 points and 12 assists. So good performance from him. Did enough to win the game for the sophomores. So we're on to the Western and Eastern All-Stars game. The big showing of the All-Star weekend. Let's go in and have a watch. Who are the lineups? Okay, so for the Western Conference, we've got Magic Johnson, World B3. Adrian Dantley, our man, has made the All-Star game as a starter, so that's great from us. kind of validates how influential he's been in our season, and the injury to him, basically causing us to go down from probably a top 3 or 4 team to a middling 500 team. Then we've got Larry Nance and Hakeem. So Hakeem making both the sophomores and the All-Star game. Then in the Eastern Conference, we've got Isaiah Thomas, Sidney Moncrief, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley also making both games, and Moses Malone. So all Philadelphia front court there for the Eastern Conference team. So let's dive in and go straight to the game. This is going to be quite a close one, actually. I think they're quite evenly balanced. I think it's quite obvious that the shooting guard position is quite weak. We've got a 35-year-old Clyde Drexler coming in as well. So, front court obviously is very strong, I think, across the year at this time. I think shooting guard is probably one there's less depth. And I think the small forward position is actually pretty well stacked as well. I mean, you've got likes of Aguirre, Dantley, World B3, quite good guys who really are small forwards. You got Alex English as well. He's all scoring small forwards at the time. So it looks like the Eastern All-Stars are pretty much blowing them out in the first quarter here. Already a 12-point gap. Yeah, interesting that it's quite a big gap. I thought this would be a closer game, actually, this one. Still early on, though, I suppose. But some absolute legends here. Clyde Drexler's coming at point guard, blimey, for the Western Conference team. Yeah, Doc Rivers has made an appearance as well. Kevin McHale. There's all these absolute legends of the game in this All-Star game. But I think it's fair to say that the Eastern Conference All-Stars are pretty much blowing this one out, and it's not even half-time. They're already 30-odd points ahead, and it's not even close. And there we go. We get to the half-time whistle. And yeah, blimey. They're averaging 43 points, 46 points. Yeah, it's not even close. It's not even close. Hitting 73% from field goal range. That's just crazy. Yeah. I think this one's over before it's even begun, really. Yeah. Crazy. Doc Rivers has come in and hit 24 points. Yeah, okay. So this one, there's a little bit more of a lack of showing. Who knows? Maybe in future episodes and future seasons when we get Mr. Malone and Stockton into that Western Conference All-Stars, and you never know, we might be able to bring ourselves in another couple of players. We can actually have a good showing and make it a closer competition. But this certainly is not close at all. I'll have to keep an eye on Doc Rivers because he might be a solution for us at shooting guard with that type of performance, really. But yeah, it looks like not even close. Not even close, guys. Well, that was a crazy, disappointing showing for us from the Western All-Stars, from the team that the conference that we're in. But that Eastern Conference is just crazy. I mean, shooting 67%. We've had Western Conference All-Stars have had 16 turnovers. Just lost it on all fronts, really. Nothing you can do, Mr. Magic Johnson. I suppose it's interesting that Kareem didn't make the All-Star game. I know he's 38 at this point, but you got likes of Tom Chambers in there. You kind of would have expected Kareem to probably knock him out in terms of a role on the rotation. But yeah, this one's well and truly over. Averaging 140 points. Blimey. Who was the player of the game then? So Doc Rivers was the player of the game. 32 points, 5 assists and 2 steals. Eastern Conference All-Stars take the first All-Star games for this Let's Play series. And it was not even close. Okay. So that ends our All-Star episode and our sort of trade deadline episode. Unfortunately, we didn't really pull off any trades. We had a couple of interesting ones that really went on the face of it when we delved into it a little bit deeper. Were not great value. So we're going to roll forward with our team and our rotation as is. I'm confident, I'm quietly confident if we can sort of avoid injuries, that this starting five is in good shape to make the playoffs. And then hopefully when we get there, we can mix it up with some of the big boys and cause an upset or two. Who knows? I hope you've enjoyed the episode. We'll be back next time with our focus towards the end of the season and then we'll start looking at the playoffs and beyond.